Good evening, I'm Gotti Schwartz. Great to have you back again. Here are some of the stories we're following on this hour on Now Tonight. More devastating tornadoes. Another evening of tornado watches tonight in the southern United States.
Don't mess with weather. If you hear the sirens going off, please shelter in place. Take care of yourselves. Don't chance it.
Plus, here we go again. The Fed raises interest rates by 0.5 point.
It will take substantially more evidence to give confidence that inflation is on a sustained downward path.
Then the surge has already begun. Heartbreaking stories from the border as the Title 42 ban draws to a close.
Just waiting at the river with no shelter, with no food, with no medication. I think this is something that is beyond comprehension.
And the World Cup is finally set, where France will now take on Argentina. We begin tonight with tornadoes touching down in the south and a new warning for much of Alabama. But first, look at this tornado in Gretna, Louisiana. This was taken earlier tonight, not even 24 hours after another tornado killed 3 people in the state. The governor there declaring an emergency while people search the rubble for survivors.
When you see just how catastrophic the damage was to so many of those homes, the fact that we limited the loss of life to 2 is something that I think is noteworthy, and we can be thankful for.
And take a look at this. This is new video showing the sheer scope of damage in parts of Louisiana. This is New Iberia, and that's where buildings, homes, almost an entire community was destroyed in an instant. A tornado also tore through a mobile home community in Mississippi. At least 1 person there was hurt. Many homes absolutely unrecognizable. These storms are stretching across the South this week. The National Weather Service in Fort Worth now confirms 14 tornadoes have touched down there. Let's bring in NBC News correspondent Guad Venegas in Kelowna, Louisiana tonight. Guad, you just talked to a survivor there. What did they go through?
Well, Gotti, let me tell you, we spent the day in Baton Rouge today trying to keep track of all these tornadoes that were coming up on the map. And you just mentioned what happened in New Iberia. That was earlier today. And then here in Kelowna, we had the report, unfortunately, of 1 person that died in one of these tornadoes and 7 were left injured. We arrived to find the damage that you can see behind me. In fact, I don't know if you could hear the noise. One of the trucks working on the power lines just left. This area has been left without power because of that damage. And yes, we spoke with one of the residents that lived in a home that used to be right over there, Gotti, but his home was actually flipped over and pushed about 30 to 40 feet in that direction. And he told us that he was able to leave. He had something to do. So he left the area about an hour and a half before that tornado hit. Here's part of the conversation that I had with him.
It's devastating. Like I said, it's all material stuff. I ain't worrying about this. This can be replaced. Yeah. A life can't be replaced. Small town. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody grew up under each other, so it's all like family. So I'm saying my neighbor, but that's like family. I've been knowing all my life.
And that was him speaking to us just as he was walking back to find all of his property. Now, it's a little dark, but that's his property. And as you look down the street, you see power lines that have been affected and more homes all the way down with police officers and workers trying to work on the electric power here. And this is just the damage from one of the tornadoes that hit today, Gotti.
And Guad, when these tornadoes happen so late, sometimes in the night, it's hard to see what the damage is until the next morning. You were showing that scene. It almost looked like you got some houses in light in the background, and then you have this darkness where it looks like houses were standing and are no longer there. How bad is the damage from where you can see it right now?
Right. So the tornado hit this area when we were still out in Baton Rouge talking about the tornadoes that had affected the northwest and the southwest part of the state. We heard about this tornado, made our way over, and we arrived just after sundown. So as you mentioned, it's dark right now, and we can see extensive damage. And it's just a lot of these homes have been destroyed. Those the bigger homes have damages to the structure. There's a house over there where the roof is completely gone. So we won't really be able to appreciate what happened here until tomorrow morning. And then, of course, there's still a warning for other places in the south where tornadoes could still happen. But this is, like I said, just the damage that we've been able to see. And again, it's also very, very dark because the power has been knocked out in this area, Gotti.
Guad Venegas, stay safe out there. Thanks so much. And who else do we turn to on nights like these? NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns is here with us. Bill, yesterday you were just telling us about how tornadoes are more dangerous at night. And now we've got snow, rain, hail, tornadoes, all of it happening this week. What's in store for late tonight and what's in store for tomorrow?
Yeah, we have a couple more hours to go with this really dangerous tornado situation. And it was only 3 hours ago that we were watching this tornado on the south side of New Orleans. And we still don't quite know yet just how bad that damage was. The sun set only an hour after it struck, and we know emergency vehicles were responding, and it was pouring rain. So as Guad said, we may not know till sunrise tomorrow just how bad some of these tornadoes have been. And talk about widespread damage. I mean, we're showing you pictures from northwest Louisiana, New Iberia, the New Orleans area, Mississippi, and eventually we may get some in Alabama and areas of Florida later tonight. But 48 hours, 42 tornado reports. That's something you'd expect maybe in April, May, or June, the peak months. But this is mid-December. This is pretty rare. Not unprecedented. It's happened before in December, but this is pretty rare. Currently, we have 1, 2, 3 tornado warnings that are active. One of them north of Mobile, one of them in southern portion of Alabama, and one now in areas of Florida in between Panama City and Tallahassee. This tornado watch goes until 2 a.m. Again, nocturnal tornadoes. People go to sleep. If you don't have your devices on, you don't get the warnings, especially if there's no sirens in your town. That's why it gets very dangerous when these happen at night. And you can see on the radar just a ton of rain with these, and these storms with these tornado warnings heading just to the west side of Tallahassee are well out ahead of the main line. It's these storms coming in off the Gulf. Those are the ones we're going to worry about that could have rotation with them and possibly tornadoes later on today. Then tomorrow, still a severe weather threat, but the tornado threat will be lower tomorrow. Maybe a couple, nothing like what we've seen the last 2 days. And then how about this? 47 million people are still under winter weather advisories or warnings because of blizzard conditions continuing, winter storm in Minnesota, Wisconsin, northern Michigan, and then the Northeast gets into the act starting tomorrow morning with ice breaking out in the Shenandoah Valley, maybe power outages for days, even D.C., Baltimore, and Philadelphia under winter weather advisories, a brief period of ice, and then it will go over to rain. But the timing during the morning commute is going to make it very slippery out there. And snowfall Thursday night into Friday, heavy snow. Everywhere you see in the pink, the mountains, that's up to 12 inches. Everywhere in the blue is 3 to 6 inches. So much of New York State, Pennsylvania, and heading up through areas of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, you're going to be shoveling and plowing. And here's the ice forecast. Anywhere you get into this bluish colors, that's where power outages will be possible, right through the spine of the Appalachians there in the mountainous area of Virginia and West Virginia. And we're not done, Gotti. Next week, we're talking about possibly a record cold blast and maybe even an East Coast snowstorm right before Christmas. So it is a busy time of year for a lot of reasons.
And so many people heading into a dangerous night tonight. Bill, thanks so much for watching it. The Federal Reserve hiked interest rates yet again today, this time by 0.5 percentage point. Now, this hike breaks a string of 4 consecutive 0.75 percentage point hikes, so it's slightly less harsh, but it does push the benchmark interest rate to its highest level in 15 years. Now, the hikes are expected to continue into next year. Officials are projecting that the rate could rise to 5.1% by the end of next year. Compare that to the 4.5%, which it is right now after today's hike. Today's announcement comes just a day after new inflation numbers did show a little bit of progress, falling from 7.1% from 7.7% in October. Yet Fed Chair Jerome Powell made it clear that while this slowdown is a sign of progress, the inflation rate remains far above the agency's 2% target.
We continue to anticipate that ongoing increases in the target range for the federal funds rate will be appropriate in order to attain a stance of monetary policy that is sufficiently restrictive to return inflation to 2% over time. I wish there were a completely painless way to restore price stability. There isn't, and this is the best we can do.
NBC News business and data reporter Brian Chung joins me now. Brian, that last bit that we just heard was in response to your question to Jerome Powell. You asked him about the level of pain Americans should expect if these hikes continue. What else did he tell you?
Yeah, Gotti, good evening. Now, when we talk about what the Federal Reserve did here today, they're making borrowing costs more expensive. They've been doing that already when you consider the massive pace of interest rate increases we've seen so far in 2022, but signs that maybe the Fed could at some point very soon stop those interest rate hikes. So again, they did raise interest rates by 0.5 percentage point, but here's the concern. Inflation still remains high. You just showed that chart showing that prices are 7.1% higher in November than they were this time last year. The Fed really would want to see that somewhere closer to 2%. So a lot of work to be done. But what is the cost of getting inflation down as the Fed makes borrowing costs more expensive? Well, it could be a substantial uptick in the unemployment rate. That would be called the hard landing if people have to lose their jobs as the Fed slows this economy deliberately. Now, what we've seen is that the Federal Reserve is projecting that the unemployment rate could rise from 3.7% now to about 4.6% by the end of the year next year. But keep in mind, that'd be about 1.6 million Americans losing their job. That's the pain that he was talking about. That's a concern as we get into 2023.
And Brian, there's always been this fear that interest rate hikes will push the economy into a recession. Based on what we've seen so far, any reason to still be concerned about that?
Yeah, well, it's important to remember that recession is something that needs to be assessed in terms of how the economy looks on a number of factors. So on the inflation side of things, things certainly don't look good. We did indeed have 2 back-to-back quarters of negative growth, which means a contraction in the U.S. economy. But on the labor market side of things, keep in mind the unemployment rate at 3.7% as of the last read is near essentially 50-year lows. So people have jobs. It looks pretty healthy on that front. So not really recessionary dynamics there. But again, what we just played in that clip shows the concern that the central bank has in terms of that changing, because keep in mind what they're trying to do here is deliberately slow the economy to make economic activity shrink to hopefully take down inflation. But does that push corporate margins to a place where companies start to then lay people off? You're seeing that happening already in the tech sector. The Fed chair said, though, in the press conference this afternoon that that seems to be mostly idiosyncratic and kind of contained to the tech sector. But if they're projecting that unemployment is going to go up next year, that could spread into other industries as well. So that's something where when we talk about recession, the Fed chairman said even if it goes up to 4.6%, he wouldn't call that recession. But could it go higher than that? We know from the inflation story, the Fed's forecasts haven't always been exactly and spot on.
And Brian, I know this latest one happened like hours ago, but how soon could we see the next Fed decision next year?
Yeah, well, this is really important because, you know, we see these headlines about the Fed moves and it's just like, oh, wait, the Fed is just making this call because of economic conditions. Keep in mind, all of these decisions are made on a pre-scheduled basis. So there are 8 policy setting meetings every single year. They're spaced about 6 to 7 weeks apart from each other, which means that the next one we'll see is January 31st with the decision coming out on February 1st. They are 2-day meetings when these policymakers descend on D.C. and decide what to do with policy rates. It's not just Jay Powell hitting a button that makes rates change. So that's an important thing to remember. But February 1st, we'll have to watch for that.
Sending you a calendar invite right now. Thanks so much, Brian.
Exactly. Thanks.
And today marks 10 years since the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary. Last night, we talked to the family of one of the teachers who was killed that day and how they're honoring her legacy. And while there were more people who lost their lives that day, there were also survivors. NBC's Kate Snow is here with a powerful story on how some of them have kept in touch with one very special teacher.
Caitlin Roig DeBellis and her former students Lauren Milgram and Julia Morato have a bond that's hard to put in words.
How's everything going? You're so big.
Thank you. Julia is 16 and Lauren 17, juniors in high school now. But Caitlin can still picture them at the start of first grade.
What I remember about Julia was that she always had a smile on her face. She just was very vivacious and full of life. Lauren was very precocious. She took school very seriously.
10 years ago, they survived the unthinkable. Caitlin crammed her students into a tiny bathroom in the back of the classroom.
I did what any teacher would do, and I can only thank whoever there is up there that helped us to get into that bathroom on that day. Because if you had seen it, you would never think that 16 people could fit inside of it.
I remember a lot from that day. I remember like right when the noises started, and I just remember like holding everyone and like holding all my classmates.
I pretty much like the only thing that I really think about is like she like saved my life. Like not like physical, but like mentally.
Mentally? By what she said?
And like just keeping us close to home. Even in like the bathroom, just having us with Ho. And Ho being in our presence helped a lot.
Do you remember anything she said, Julia?
One thing that she said is that she loved us. Going back and like thinking about it, like that was like the first thing that I would think about.
They're 6, and I'm thinking that they're about to die, and I want them to know how loved they are. I couldn't fathom in my 29-year-old mind like that this is it for them.
You wanted one of the last things they heard potentially to be,
I needed it.
I love you.
I needed it to be.
Eventually, a SWAT team opened the door and led them to safety.
Without Ms. Roig's like quick thinking, I wouldn't be here today, and like neither would Julia or any of my other classmates. And it's just like, I'm so thankful.
That's the bond.
She's kind of like my second mom.
In the months afterward, their classroom received gifts from all over the country, and Caitlin saw a way to teach.
I said, you know, why did somebody do this for us? And they raised their hands and they said, well, you know, someone wanted us to be happy. And I said, exactly. And I said, what's our job now? And they said, well, you know, we should probably help someone. We should probably find someone else and mail them something that they might need.
Her students sent a smart board to another school in need. That inspired a foundation called Classes for Classes, encouraging other classrooms to do kindness projects.
One 4th grade student said, kindness really can make a difference in our world. It has to start with someone. Why not us?
Julia and Lauren took the lesson to heart. Both have volunteered helping animals. 10 years on, Julia now dreams of being a mechanic. Lauren wants to be a school superintendent.
I'd like to be in a position where I can actually enact change to make sure that this issue doesn't happen to any other student in America.
It strikes me that it was one of the most horrible days in the history of this country, and people were lost, and it shaped who you all are now. All those things are true.
For me, the remembrance is every second of every minute of every hour of every single day. And that is a truth. And so, yes, here we are at 10, but that is no different than yesterday or the day before that. You live with it. You move forward in your life. Clearly, these 2 girls have moved forward, but you don't ever move on. It is wholly a part of you, and that's okay.
What an incredible story. Thanks so much, Kate Snow. And a bipartisan group of lawmakers is so worried about TikTok that they're pushing to ban the app in the United States. After the break, a look at the concerns about whether TikTok could be a Trojan horse that China could use to spy on or manipulate Americans.
I have been raising this concern for some time, both in terms of collecting data and where that is stored. Do you really want your kids' videos, their eye movements somehow stored someplace else?
Leave it to TikTokers to break this type of news on TikTok, right? Not gonna lie. I saw this on the TikTok For You page before I got the news alert. And in typical TikTok fashion, a lot of content creators seem pretty skeptical about the concerns with a recent push from some in Congress to ban the app here in the United States. But just yesterday, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle introduced bipartisan legislation to ban the Chinese-owned social media app. The legislation aims to, quote, protect Americans by blocking and prohibiting all transactions from any social media company in or under the influence of China, Russia, and several other foreign countries of concerns. Fears that China and TikTok's parent company ByteDance are using the app to spy on Americans seems to be growing on the state level as well. North Dakota, Iowa, also banning the app from state-owned devices and joining a bunch of other states that have already done the same. Now, obviously, TikTok is not happy with all this talk, saying, quote, it is troubling that rather than encouraging the administration to conclude its national security review of TikTok, some members of Congress have decided to push for a politically motivated ban that will do nothing to advance the national security of the United States. Senator Mark Warner talked about just that with reporters a little bit earlier today.
I've been telling the Justice Department for months, you got something? Show us what you got. Show us the deal. Because when we're talking about a product that 150 million plus Americans use, and many young people use on a daily basis, and there are a lot of creative things that happen on TikTok. This is not an all-bad platform, but there are huge risks.
Let's bring in NBC technology correspondent Jacob Ward. Jake, first off, most important question before we even get started. How often are you seeing that you've been using TikTok a lot today notification?
Here's my version of that. I was going to say, raise your hand if you've ever gotten a video from TikTok that says you've been on there too long. Gotti, put a hand up, brother, because I know it's you too, right? You and me. We are power users of this thing. That, right? It's the essence of this thing. It is so extraordinarily habit-forming that when the bartender actually has to tell you to stop drinking, right, you know you have a problem. That is the situation I'm absolutely in with TikTok. So, yes, absolutely, I'm one of those people that just doesn't know when to stop scrolling.
And now that we have established your credibility on this, something that a lot of people praise TikTok for is its algorithm. But that very algorithm now seems to be a huge concern for FBI Director Christopher Wray. In what ways could China manipulate TikTok, according to lawmakers in the FBI? And how much evidence is there that some sort of manipulation might be happening?
Well, this is what's so interesting about this moment that we are in, and I think, Gotti, you and I are really watching history being made here as our nation, which has always prided itself on this idea that we are all just, pioneers out on the edge of society, making our own way in this world, making our own choices, that we actually may not be as in control of our decisions as we thought, and that tech platforms may, in fact, have much more influence over our behavior than we realize. We're seeing this all across our society as we try to figure this stuff out. What I think we're hearing from FBI Director Christopher Wray in his speech to the University of Michigan, and what we're hearing from lawmakers, is this sort of evolving concern that there's something about a Chinese-controlled company. It's important to note here, right, that TikTok US is, in theory, a U.S. company, but it is owned by Beijing-based ByteDance. And what Wray is worried about here is that that is a country, as he puts it, that does not share U.S. values and that has the opportunity to put a certain amount of manipulation out into the world. What's interesting, I think, here is not, you listen to people in the national security realm talking about this stuff, and what they're worried about specifically is things like, a military service member, giving up details of her post, right? Or perhaps somebody, having anti-patriotic content served to them to the point where they suddenly, are espousing anti-American views, that kind of stuff. But what I think we're also seeing here, certainly in the policies that we've seen in China, is that we understand that there is an enormous amount of time being spent on this platform alone. If you simply think about the fact that, even, people who pride themselves on thinking about this stuff pretty strongly, have to get a warning from TikTok to stop scrolling, it just shows how deep that influence is going when it comes to modern use of this kind of technology. I think Christopher Wray and others are grappling with that in their own way, Gotti.
And Jake, I want to turn to another social media app that everybody is talking about, Twitter. Elon Musk just disbanded the company's Trust and Safety Council just before a number of countries head into elections now. Could this pose a risk to some of those countries?
I mean, it absolutely does, according to the people that I've been speaking to, Gotti, right? The Trust and Safety Council was not a governing body. They did not have any kind of official say over Twitter's policy. But what they were was a sort of outside group of experts that Twitter could go to when they needed cultural context, when they needed advice on whether to take down content at the request of a government outside the United States. The reports are that about half of those sorts of takedown requests were regularly refused by Twitter because of this outside council. And that's because you have countries all over the world that regularly seek to stifle the work of journalists, that regularly seek to stifle the voices of dissidents by getting their stuff taken off of social media. Now, we're looking, as you mentioned, at a series of elections around the world that are going to absolutely depend on the free flow of information. That's Tunisia, whose election is on Saturday. That's Nigeria in February. That's Turkey in June, right? You've got big, important elections happening all over the world, and suddenly you have someone at the helm of Twitter who has essentially said, we're only just going to follow the rules of whatever country we're operating in. You know, that is the kind of thing that this Trust and Safety Board had taught Twitter not to do. The fact that they are now all being taken off the table, I think, signals a very alarming new chapter for Twitter, Gotti.
Jake, thanks so much. I will not be surprised if I see this all clipped out and come across my For You page. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
And now to some breaking news tonight. UCLA is on track to join the Big Ten Conference. The University of California Board of Regents just approved the Bruins' exit from the Pac-12 today. In a statement, the school's athletic director saying, quote, "We've always been guided by what is best for our 25 teams and more than 700 student athletes, and the Big Ten offers exciting new competitive opportunities on a bigger national media platform for our student athletes to compete and showcase their talent." And after the break, some other big headlines we're keeping an eye on right now, including a surge at the southern border. We're going to hear directly from migrants who say they are trying to claim asylum, plus an update on the man who attacked Speaker Pelosi's husband, what a judge ruled today. And I'm in shock, I'm scared. Those were the words from Megan Thee Stallion in court during a shooting trial. We're going to bring you up to speed on that high-profile case playing out here in L.A. Now Tonight is just getting started, so stay tuned. And now for some of the headlines we're following tonight. David DePape, the man accused of attacking Nancy Pelosi's husband, will go to trial. A judge ruling today that there is enough evidence on all charges, including premeditated attempted murder. DePape allegedly broke into the couple's San Francisco home and attacked Mr. Pelosi with a hammer. The next hearing will be in 2 weeks. The wife of soccer journalist Grant Wahl revealing his cause of death today, citing an autopsy. She says Wahl suffered from an aortic aneurysm while covering the World Cup in Qatar. She also shares there was, quote, nothing nefarious about this passing. And tributes continue to pour in for beloved dancer and DJ for the Ellen DeGeneres Show, Stephen Twitch Boss. The 40-year-old died by apparent suicide. Boss first rose to fame as a contestant on So You Think You Can Dance, but later became known for his infectious energy on The Ellen Show. And nearly a month after the deadly Club Q shooting in Colorado, 2 survivors are addressing lawmakers directly on Capitol Hill.
To the politicians and activists who accuse LGBTQ people of grooming children and being abusers, shame on you. Hate speech turns into hate action, and actions based on hate almost took my life from me at 25 years old.
The House Oversight Committee also heard from the owner of Club Q today, as well as a survivor of the 2016 Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando. Their testimonies come during a wave of anti-LGBTQ legislation and an uptick of hate crimes against the community. 29 countries voted to expel Iran from a UN Women's Rights Commission today. The decision comes after the U.S. requested that Iran be removed from the commission over the country's systematic oppression of women and violent crackdowns on protests. At the southern border tonight, a growing humanitarian crisis as crowds of people are waiting to cross into the United States on the concrete banks of the Rio Grande. Now, these
Hey, Julio! Dang,
Now, those are some of the scenes that are unfolding on the banks of the Rio Grande there in Ciudad Juarez and El Paso. If you connected those two cities, you would have a combined population of almost 3 million people. The cities are split by the Rio Grande River there, where people are now sleeping and waiting for days to present themselves at a gap in that border fence. And this is what it looks like in Mexico. So many of them are waiting for the lifting of Title 42 next week. That's that COVID policy that's been used to block large numbers of migrants from getting asylum in the United States. And those who have been let through are sleeping on the streets, at bus stations, and inside the airport. The deputy city manager in El Paso is calling the situation unsustainable. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez has more.
Gotti, migrant advocates here in El Paso tell us that the shelter system here is just overwhelmed. This comes after days of huge groups showing up at the border. We were just in Ciudad Juarez, across the border from El Paso earlier today, and we saw this huge group of hundreds of migrants waiting to turn themselves in to Border Patrol. This group was made up of Nicaraguans and Venezuelans and people from other countries, some of whom told us that, they were considering coming to the border ahead of the lifting of Title 42. Of course, that's a pandemic-era border restriction that allowed the federal government to turn away asylum seekers. Some of these migrants think that if Title 42 is lifted, there might be even more chaos at the border, and that could lead to a shutdown at the border. At least that's what they've heard from friends and family in their home countries, or perhaps even smugglers as well. Still, others we spoke with said that they weren't familiar with the U.S. policy. They just wanted to get to the U.S. because they were desperate to leave their home countries. But here in El Paso, there are migrants sleeping on the streets in frigid temperatures overnight. The shelter system here and NGOs are trying to step up and do what they can in order to contain this influx, but there are concerns about what happens over the coming weeks, and they want the federal government to step up and do more. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas was here earlier this week visiting with officials, and he has defended the Biden administration's policies. But again, many community leaders here say that they want a state of emergency declared, and they want more resources sent to border communities like this one. Gotti, back to you.
And we also want to focus on the human toll of this story. That's something that Gabe and our friends at Telemundo have been capturing and reporting on from both sides of the border. Take a look.
Va cruzando gente del lado del río, va algunos con alimento, muchos de ellos ante la espera de que pueden pasar días en esta larga fila, lo que hacen es cruzarse de nuevo a México, comprar alimento y luego regresar. El río, evidentemente el agua está muy fría, pero no está muy grande, el nivel del agua llega hasta el nivel de las rodillas y se cruzan y continúan en la espera para ser procesados en Estados Unidos.
This is something that is beyond comprehension. I mean, this is it is indeed the extreme of a humanitarian crisis at the border.
Detuvieron justamente en el área de Durango, ¿no? Don Jorge, platique un poquito, fue muy difícil ese momento.
Muy triste, muy lamentable, porque la verdad había muchos niños y mujeres hasta embarazadas y que no respetaban nada a los señores que nos tenían secuestrados con las pistolas, con las armas, que a cada rato rastrillaban y que cállense, que se sienten ahí, el que se mueve le disparo y mucha gente pasó.
Hasta que llegó el ejército y los liberó.
Sí, llegó el ejército.
Evidentemente la situación es preocupante.
These were those that didn't have the means, they didn't have the sponsors, they didn't have the funding to get a hotel or anything, and so they were left on the street. Now, we were offering hotels and we were doing that as a city, but a lot of people didn't want to go. And why? It's because the El Paso community at large was going by and bringing them food and toys and clothes, and they were making them feel it so at home that they didn't want to leave the streets.
Now they're waiting until Title 42 is lifted before they decide whether to cross into the United States.
And in 2012, there were just under 1,000 anti-Semitic incidents in the United States. And while that number might seem high, it is nowhere near what we're seeing today. Last year, that was closer to 3,000. When we come back, a look at growing hate in America and what's being done to stop it. Yet another high-profile celebrity trial is unfolding here in Los Angeles this week. The assault trial against rapper Tory Lanez, who allegedly shot superstar Megan Thee Stallion back in 2020. And Megan took the stand yesterday and said she was shot by Lanez, who yelled at her to dance. Today, jurors heard from Kelsey Harris, Megan's ex-best friend, who was in the car with both Lanez and Megan the night of the shooting. Lanez has denied all charges. We're going to bring you up to speed on what we know so far and what comes next.
In front of a Los Angeles courthouse, Megan Thee Stallion made her way inside, greeted by fans showing support and a small but loud number of hecklers trying to shout her down.
Megan, why you lying on that boy? Why you lying on that boy? Truth or lie? Look good in that purple.
Megan deserves a community that supports her and listens to her and believes her. A lot of our women are not ever believed that something happens to them, and then they never feel supported and we're put in the back burner.
The Grammy-winning rapper, known for her tough-as-nails persona, testified against rapper Tory Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson. Peterson is on trial for allegedly shooting Megan in the feet back in 2020. Megyn telling a packed courtroom following a party at Kylie Jenner's house, she got into a heated argument with Peterson and her best friend about a past relationship. Megyn says she was kicked out of an SUV and made to walk. At one point, looked back and saw Peterson pointing a gun at her, yelling at her to dance, then opening fire.
He said, "Dance, bitch." And he started shooting, and I'm just like, oh my God.
According to police, her feet were bleeding profusely. Bullet fragments later removed. But at the time, she denied being shot and denied having a relationship with Peterson, saying she feared the repercussions, testifying that the amount of vitriol she's received since made her wish he would have just killed me if I knew I'd had to go through this. Megan Thee Stallion's former best friend, Kelsey Harris, also taking the stand. Peterson's defense claiming that Harris was the person who pulled the trigger, but Harris insisting Peterson was the shooter. Peterson's defense team stating that gun residue was found on both Peterson and Harris, but LAPD failed to test the gun for Harris's DNA. The case expected to last into next week. Defense attorneys have yet to confirm if Peterson will take the stand. Meanwhile, outside, Stallion fans continue to show their support.
I would tell her that we believe you, we support you, and that you are loved.
Now, back in June, NBC News first reported on Florida pastor Evan Edwards and his family. They're accused of scamming the government for $8 million in COVID relief funds. Now, officials also say the family tried to use some of that money to buy a luxury home near Disney World. Now, more than 5 months after that report, Edwards and his son are under arrest. NBC News correspondent Stephanie Gosk has more on the development.
Oh, my God.
As neighbors in this Florida suburb sipped their morning coffee today, Josh Edwards was led away in handcuffs. His father, Evan, following soon after. According to a 6-count federal indictment, Josh Edwards lied on an application for a PPP loan back in April 2020 to keep the family's Christian ministry afloat during the pandemic. Asking for $6 million, the government approved a loan for $8 million. Edwards claimed there were nearly 500 employees and $2.7 million in payroll expenses. Both claims were false, according to prosecutors. Instead of setting up a ministry to help the poor, the Edwards tried to put a down payment on this $3 million house near Disney World. NBC News profiled the case back in June,
including one Florida-based family ministry that received millions of taxpayer dollars to pay employees.
The Secret Service was on to the Edwards in September 2020. The loan application was signed off by an 88-year-old accountant suffering from dementia, and there were no signs of any employees at the ministry's office, according to court records. When agents tried to confront the family of 4, the cars were gone.
Police were waiting on this highway on-ramp for the Edwards as they headed north. When they stopped them, the father said that they were on their way to a conference in Texas, but he couldn't provide any details. And according to the authorities, in the back seat, there was a paper shredder the family bought the week before and garbage bags filled with shredded documents.
But the family was eventually let go, and although the money was seized, there were no criminal charges. We knocked on their door a year and a half later. Neighbors telling us they still live there. The U.S. Attorney's Office did not comment on why it took so long to indict the Edwards. An attorney for the father and son had no comment, while a judge ordered they get medical and psychiatric evaluations.
Stephanie Gosk, thank you. Anti-Semitic harassment, vandalism, and assault are reaching record highs this year. The Anti-Defamation League tracks anti-Semitic incidents, and last year passed 2,700. That comes to an average of about 7 a day, and those are just the ones that are reported. Tonight, NBC News Now will explore the rise of anti-Semitism in America and what's being done on a national level to stop it. And we want to warn you, some of the language and some of these images are disturbing. Here's NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch in his report.
This hatred isn't new.
11 dead, 6 injured.
And it never really went away. When 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust, the world vowed never again.
Jews will not replace us!
But now, instead of festering in the shadows, genocidal lies are moving closer to the American mainstream. From a Los Angeles highway to an alleged threat to a New York City synagogue, anti-Semitism is spreading as some of our biggest artists.
I see good things about Hitler also.
Athletes.
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
And leaders, including members of Congress on the left and right, even a former president, are accused of fueling anti-Semitism.
You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were
very fine people on both sides.
Most recently, former President Trump dined with a Holocaust-denying white nationalist as Republicans were criticized for not responding more forcefully.
There is no room in the Republican Party for anti-Semitism or white supremacy.
Corporations are also under scrutiny. Kyrie Irving was benched 8 games for spreading what the NBA commissioner called deeply offensive anti-Semitic material. But it took Nike more than a month to cut ties with him. Adidas dropped the rapper formerly known as Kanye West, but that shoe brand has its own historical ties to Nazi Germany, noticeably not mentioned on its website history page. These moments made headlines, but there have been many more. The Anti-Defamation League says there were 2,717 anti-Semitic incidents in this country last year alone, including assaults, which hit a record high for the past 40-plus years, as the federal government warns of an enduring threat to Jewish Americans.
Are you nervous about the way things are in this country right now?
Extremely. Extremely.
Jacqueline Gold has always felt trepidation. She knows what can happen.
You can't go to a synagogue that doesn't have security. There were swastikas in one of the common areas of my dorm.
Her grandmother, Erica Gold, says in 1944, she jumped from a truck with her mother and hid in Budapest. If they didn't, she says Nazis would have shot them dead. Erica was just 12 years old.
When somebody, a politician, says something that is bad, that he's going to do, believe him.
It starts with smaller actions, and then it spirals out of control if we just let it slide. With my grandmother's story, everything was fine until one day it wasn't.
Words matter. People are no longer saying the quiet parts out loud. They are literally screaming them.
December 7th, Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff, who is Jewish, led a White House roundtable on anti-Semitism in an effort to reverse a disturbing trend.
I think it's just important to separate out the moments where we can say, here, this is anti-Semitic and here's why. I think that's, in some ways, for the future, more important than just condemning people who do stuff like that.
Law professor Kathy Lesser-Mansfield teaches about the Holocaust.
The beginning of ending up at genocide is separating people into groups and having us and them. And, you know, that is what the white supremacists in this country are trying to do.
The most important thing that we need to focus on is education, because hatred really stems from ignorance.
And as officials and communities work to deprive this resurgent hate of any oxygen, one thing is already clear. Saying never again may not be enough. Jesse Kirsch, NBC News.
And this conversation continues on NBC News Now. Tonight, my friend Jacob Soboroff is going to be hosting Epidemic of Hate, Anti-Semitism in America. He's going to explore the resurgence of hate against the Jewish community with Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, producer Norman Lear, and more. Again, that's going to be at 10:30 Eastern on NBC News Now. And in Ukraine, Kyiv woke up to blasts and air raid sirens this morning again as Russia targeted the city with a swarm of drones. Officials say that Ukrainian air defenses shot down most of those drones, and there were no reports of any deaths. This attack is the latest in a string of Russian missile strikes that have targeted energy infrastructure in Ukraine as the country heads into its coldest months. Meanwhile, the UN has now estimated that nearly 8 million Ukrainians have fled since the war started, a number that's only expected to grow in the coming weeks. Sky News Moscow correspondent Diana Magny has more from Belgorod, a Russian city right on Ukraine's border.
In Belgorod, right up on Ukraine's border, the Christmas lights are going up, a treat Russia's robbed its neighbor of this winter, bombing the energy grid, prompting rolling blackouts. Ukraine employs a touch of payback here, lobbing shells across the border. The number of casualties in the nearby villages small but growing. You can see the damage from the shell on that roof, and this used to be a home. One woman was killed in her garden here. The war coming home to Russia on a tiny micro level in this thin slither of land along the border.
Мы их не понимаем, почему не стреляют. Почему это все началось вообще? Деток столько погибло. Надеемся на Бога, может, будет все хорошо.
Lena came from Donetsk, but she can't seem to leave the fighting behind.
Пожалуйста. Все, хорошего дня вам.
Вам тоже. At a Communist Party headquarters in Belgorod, volunteers hand out food and clothes to Ukrainians who fled east into Russia. Most of the refugees we meet are reluctant to show their faces, scared of what they've heard about the hunt for collaborators in areas recaptured by Ukraine.
Люди пропадают, говорят, что таксистов, которые вывозили людей к границе русской, расстреляли. И многих людей, которые вышли работать, сотрудничать на административные работы там, и их тоже все посадили. И в них фигурирует 3.
This woman used to be a teacher in the Kharkiv region. Her daughter fled to Poland. She says she cannot know where her mother is now.
Она мне сказала: мама, тебе не место в школе. Такие, как ты, скажи, я тебя сдам в СБУ. Я удалила переписку.
Nika Karakonstantin fled from a village near Kharkiv in March, bringing 4 of her children with her. Deon and Pelageya have been asking if they have a Christmas tree back home and if the Russians will destroy it.
То есть у них еще лежит эта мысль о том, что кто на нас напал, кто сделал больно, кто лишил еды.
Why did you come here? Was it because you knew that your children would be safe?
У меня не было выбора. Я находилась в оккупации. И выход был только один – попробовать выехать в Россию, и, может быть, по дороге этим коридором нас не расстреляют.
She's staying put in Belgorod, a decision which has cost her friendships and all contact with her sisters. Her eldest son will be 18 soon, and he's also staying in Ukraine. This is what she says he tells her.
Мама, я тебя люблю. Но я не могу к тебе приехать, я не могу преодолеть вот это чувство злости, гнева, ненависти. Да, я боюсь, что от меня отвернутся, как отворачиваются сейчас от тебя.
Nika hopes her little ones won't have to experience that. She's teaching them in Ukrainian still, as well as in Russian, trying to create a space where they can be the children they were before all this began. Playmates, not enemies, in this unwelcome new reality. Diana Magne, Sky News, Belgorod, Russia.
Diana, thank you. The World Cup final is set. Argentina versus France. We've got more on what to expect this coming Sunday. Plus, you ever wonder what it sounds like on Mars? Well, wonder no more, because we've got the latest win for NASA coming up next. That's a party on the streets of Paris tonight and all across France. The national soccer team is one step closer to repeating as the World Cup champions after beating Morocco. NBC's Megan Fitzgerald is in Doha with more reaction.
It was a hard-fought game for Morocco. The underdogs showed up to play. There were some 60,000 fans in the stadium cheering for Morocco, 8,000 roughly cheering for France. So they had the home team advantage, seemingly, with the crowd cheering them on. They were aggressive throughout the entire game. They really fought for possession. They had several attacks on the cage, but they just couldn't connect to score a point. In the end, it was France coming out, scoring a goal with 4 minutes into the game, then another goal about 80 minutes into the game for a 2-0 victory over Morocco. The fans will just take a listen.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're gonna win the World Cup for sure.
How do you feel right now that you guys pulled off this win?
Yes, it was a very nice games. The Morocco deserved to this way. I respect it. Very nice. They play with the heart.
We will be more strong, and we will win another time.
The defending World Cup champions France heading to the finals. They're going to be going up against Lionel Messi's Argentina team. Of course, Messi vying for a World Cup title, which would be his first. We'll all be watching on Sunday. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Megan. And before we go, the headlines are full of bad news, even though you might not know it from all those alerts that we get every single day. So we want to spend some time living in our 60 seconds of joy. And first, we want to head to Mars, where not only did good old trusty rover Perseverance get lucky with a shot of a dust devil, it happened to have its microphone on, something that only happens once a day for just a few minutes. Take a quick listen. That's the sound of desolation. Also, remember that famous scene from the movie Big when Tom Hanks played a huge electronic piano? Well, that scene took place at FAO Schwartz, and now the store is celebrating a major milestone, 160 years of business, and you can stomp your little heart out at the legendary toy store located right at 30 Rock. And you might have noticed, our dear friend Al Roker has been recovering from a health scare. Well, today he got a special surprise from our Today Show family. Al hasn't been on set since recovering after weeks of being at the hospital, but I gotta tell you, there is nothing like seeing an Al Roker smile in real life. So Today's Show and the entire crew took some Christmas carols right to his doorstep.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way, ha, ha, ha.
It's been a long, hard slog, and I've missed you all so very much. And all these faces, this just means the world to me.
We miss you so much, Al Roker, and we love you dearly. You light up our world. That does it for us here on this Wednesday. I'm Gotti Schwartz. Thanks for joining us this hour for Now Tonight. The news continues right now.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.